In this video, you can observe my results on the Trackman Combine, which is a test that you can put yourself through on a Trackman, and it exercises your entire golf bag. Ask your coach for more details. So 83 is about as good as I've ever done on a combine indoors. Some off shots with almost every single distance, but everything was decent compared to what I've seen in my own testing. 60 and 70 yards felt particularly shaky. I feel like a score of 71.5 and a score of 76.5 is a bit low compared to what I consider myself capable of. I hit both of those with a 60-degree wedge. 80, 90, 100 felt a little better. I also use 60-degree wedge regardless for those distances, unless at 100, if there's any sort of wind condition or cold, I might consider using a sand wedge instead, 56 degree. On the first round, I generally go one club less. One club more and kind of knock it down for the first 3 shots, and then as I circle back to the next 3, my body's almost inevitably more warm and ready to go, so I'll take it up to either the club that I would normally play at that distance, or even step on a club shorter than that to just try to find a couple of gears and train a couple of gears. So I'm not constantly backing off of my shots. I'm not constantly going after them. I just kind of get familiar with that. So with 120, round 1 is a 52-degree gap wedge. Round 2 is a stepped-on sand wedge. 140 on the first round is normally a pitching wedge, just shaving a couple of yards off. Round 2 is trying to step on a 52-degree gap wedge. 160 on the first round is a knockdown 8-iron. Round 2 is a full-out, maybe slightly stepped-on 9-iron. 180 tonight was 7-iron both rounds. When I'm really feeling springy, I'll step on an 8-iron and maybe get it to go 175. For the drives, I hit 3-wood the first round and then driver the second round. So that explains the difference between those. All in all, not bad. My club head speed hovering just below 110, kind of on a casual, full swing. And I think I've got a little more in the tank. But all in all, I'm feeling pretty good. It's March 23rd, 2020 now. Looking forward to whenever this golf season resumes, being ready to go. This is kind of the average across all shots. My 83.1 was my average score. You'll see that, 80 yards, 90 yards, 100 yards, 120, 140, 160, and 180 all performed at or above average. 60 and 70 performed a little below average. On course, I'd say that those usually hold up pretty well for me. The drive, on the other hand, is probably accurate. That's where I've been working in the last year. Struggling a little bit, but feels better. And looking forward to some progress in that regard as far as the distance, but also the repeatability, just hitting some targets, hitting some fairways. But again, kind of really cool thing to do if you work with a coach who has Trackman. Or if you have access to get on a Trackman even just by yourself. Doing this regularly, particularly the 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, I feel is incredibly helpful for improvement on your scoring, even if you're not even working on technique. You just find these ways to control your distance by trying to control your distance. It's not something that people practice nearly often enough. I know it's helped my game tremendously. On top of that, I would say that if you need to have a format for the way that you practice, that also has helped me when it's time to perform. I really enjoy the fact that this forces you to just hit 3 shots and move on to another club. I particularly find it helpful that when you go from round 1, having gone through all the distances, and you start back over at wedge, that's really helpful for me. I usually feel sharper the second round through, and I've incorporated that into a regular warm-up before tournaments and before play. Oftentimes at the range, it's typical to see somebody just grab wedge, work their way through the bag, hit driver, and leave. But so depending on who you are and how you warm up before you get to the range, that first round can really be a big deal. So hope you enjoyed this. Very cool stuff. I'm excited for my game. I hope this helped you and got you inspired to go out and practice as soon as you're able.
If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like and a comment below. And to make sure that you don't miss future videos, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications.